Yashodanandana Rajana Yashodanandana Rajana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Radha Madhava Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaurapakunda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 नाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की पतित पावन श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की साई गौर प्रेमानंदे ज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you. For the Saturday evening class. And I'm very happy to be with all of you actually. A very special and very nice devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you today, along with my better half. I think she's first time attending the Saturday classes, first time coming and directly speaking. Quite advanced soul with us today. So we all just completed our very one of the most important and the most significant festivals for all of us, which is Janmashtami, you know. And many of you must have come and taken darshan on Janmashtami, and also on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. And then before that, you know, this is like a whole festival season, you know. You have Balram Purnima on the Rakhi Purnima day. And then in midst of that, it's just before that, the Julan, isn't it? You have the Julan, Radha Krishna Julan Utsav. Isn't it? This is like a very special, you know, days of the year wherein we are so deeply absorbed in remembering the Supreme Lord and chanting His holy name, hearing different pastimes, catching up with different leelas, which are connecting to the pastimes, and in this way make our life perfect. You know, as we all know very well that human life is a very special life, and it is meant to perform bhakti. It is meant to perform bhakti, perform devotional service. Srila Prabhupada translates everywhere bhakti as devotional service. You know, it is because it is a service which is the constitutional position of a living entity. You know, servant of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada very beautifully actually explains this, that the nature of the soul is to render service. And then he proves this very logically. Well, if you know how Prabhupada proves it, the nature of the soul is to render service. How does Srila Prabhupada prove that? Anyone remembers? Is there in the Gita purports also, several places in the Bhagavatam also, that Srila Prabhupada proves that Jivera Swarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. And Das means servant, right? Service. And Prabhupada proves it, that how everyone is just doing service. Anyone remembers that? Dogging Sabbath. Okay, yeah, okay. If we have no one, we are serving service to the Lord. That's true. Yeah, Prabhupada gives an elaborate example of all kind of things a living entity does. And he connects that it's all service. A father is serving the son. The son is serving the family. Husband is serving the wife. Wife is serving the husband. Employee is serving the boss. Boss is serving the boss above him. If he doesn't have anyone above him, he's serving the government representative. Isn't it true? In this way, if not, then we are serving our own desires. To fulfill our own desires, we are working, isn't it? To fulfill our own desires. We have some desires. So we are working towards that. So in all these things, in all these activities, one thing is common. What is that? Service. And Prabhupada says, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. The perfection of the service is to know and remember and render service to Krishna. That is perfection of service. And that is what perfects the human life. And the whole human life messes up by forgetting this one aspect, that we are supposed to serve Krishna. And then Prabhupada gives so many times examples. Serving to Krishna means what? And everything else will be taken care. Two famous examples Prabhupada gives. Yes. Feeding the stomach. Prabhupada gives an example that all of our services are taken care if we just contemplate and dedicate our life in contemplating on how to serve Krishna. Nobody in this world would have a mango tree and think that how can I water the mango flower. Nobody thinks how can I water the mango fruit. Does anyone think like that? No. Everyone knows that he has to water the roots. Automatically, it will go everywhere. Isn't it true? Similarly, nobody thinks that this pinky finger is so weak today. I have to feed it nicely. Never. Anyone does like this? Some people do, but they are in. Some people talk to their hand, like that. Then they are mental. Isn't it true? They have medical imbalance. So they are mental. But then, if you want to keep your body fit, you just have to put the food into your stomach. And then it spreads around to the whole body. This is a very simple example Srila Prabhupada gives that, One is the nature of the soul is to do service. And second, the perfect of the perfection of service is to serve Krishna. And then by serving Krishna is as good as watering the roots of a tree and feeding the stomach. This is so basic philosophy of Krishna consciousness. First thing, as you all know, you all have been attending classes, that we are not this body, we are the spirit, soul. The body has no value once the soul leaves the body. So who are we? We are the soul. And who is super soul? Krishna. And what is our relationship with Krishna? Service. To service. So this is the basic philosophy. Beyond. And Prabhupada is it is called the essence of the Vedic literatures, actually. It's all in the Bhagavad Gita. But this very simple teaching becomes so difficult. Because specifically, we are in the age of Kali. We are in Kali Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, tomorrow we're going to celebrate his Vyas Puja. Even Prabhupada mentions, and Maharaj very strongly mentions in his class that, Kali Yuga is not a place. Kali Yuga is not a place for a gentleman to live. It is not a place for a gentleman to live. And Srila Prabhupada says that as soon as you wake up and see yourself in the morning and you see the period, it's Kali Yuga, then you can conclude you are sinful. That is why you are here in Kali Yuga. Only sinful people, they are there in Kali Yuga. Because it's such a dark age. And Prabhupada's beautiful analogies and examples, no need. I always mention, ever since COVID has happened, it is so nice to see Srila Prabhupada's purport right in front of your eyes, Prabhupada said this world is such a place, even whatever happens, attachment in this world is such. The illusion, Lord's energy in the form of Maya is so powerful that the living entity forgets everything and always thinks that no, just these plans will be perfect and everything will be fine in my life, And COVID was a practical thing, What people went through COVID and look at them now. Everything is fine, back to normal. Everything is fine. When COVID was there, people were thinking we will be alive or not. In case if we die, then people were making plans. Many people made the will, many wills were changed. Online, what we call court lawyers, they had a lot of job because people were changing wills because they don't know what will happen. And then now everyone again changing the wills. अरे वो गलती से हो गया था मुझे लगा. No, again they are changing wills. In the midst of it, I had a very beautiful experience. Had, due to my health issues, me and my wife, we went actually for a treatment. I will not mention where I went, but it was a very beautiful experience because after 22 years of my service in ISKCON, under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada's beautiful disciples and the leaders of this movement, first time ever in 22 years, I went outside the temple, and lived somewhere more than a week. Never before I ever lived, even not more than 2 days, I ever lived anywhere. So this time I went for 12 days to a place where there was a so-called spiritual organization who also, you have read in Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, that there are people who are Mayavadis and impersonalists. They will approach the Brahman and they reach the Brahman effulgence. They will reach there, just the entrance of the spiritual sky. And because they have not performed devotional service, they will just be there with no activity in the Brahman. So after that, they get pretty bored and they come down and do some social work service. Social work, social work with helping, helping people to keep their body and soul together to sense gratify, to sense gratify in this world. So many organizations do that. So and they came to know that I am from ISKCON, and they send their top men. They came to know this man is from Mumbai, as also the president of Hyderabad. So they send their speakers to me, and anytime they would come, I would go inside room. I would tell my wife, tell them I'm in the bathroom, because they just wanted to preach. So after 5 days of escaping, they finally just sat there, putting the tent there. I know, we'll wait. So I sat there peacefully and heard them and asked few questions. They came down explaining how Gurudev want this, Gurudev want to do this and that, blah, 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 blah. And honestly, very innocent people, not knowing proper philosophy. So then we spoke, about Bhagavad Gita. Gurudev has given lectures on Bhagavad Gita also. And I also was telling, I also wanted to not tell them get lost, but at the same time tell them go, So I said, yeah, I have read that book. I went to the shop. I read, this is amazing. So I did my part, but still they were not moving. So then they explained about other different Siddharth Upanishads, lectures of Gurudev. I said, yeah, I saw that app, it's very nice. I want to have your Gurudev's lectures on Bhagavad Gita. I'm really interested to know them. So they also got fascinated. But then they were not leaving me only on this. So I was smiling, this, that. So finally I said, chalo, theek hai. Then I heard second day nicely. I said, so according to your Gurudev, what is the goal of human life then? What should be the goal of all these practices, what you mentioned? I said, do you have kirtans? He said, yeah, which kirtan? All kirtans. I said, all kirtan means, jisko jo chahiye wo kirtan kar sakta hai. Theek hai, Baba. So then I asked this. So that was like a shock to me. She said, she smiled. First she asked, what? I said, according to your Gurudev, what is actually a goal of life? See, that Gurudev has left to us. That Gurudev has left to us to decide. And I was just laughing after she went. I was laughing to my wife. I said, one sentence I made of it. That's it, one sentence, One sentence. I said, according to Gurudev, what is the goal of life or human life? She said, that the Gurudev has left us to decide. My God, I was like shocked, So then next day, she got another teacher who preached her. So he was more little intelligent, and an IIT and another. So I spoke to him. I said, we are doing this service, we are more towards the soul part and bhakti part of it, I told him few stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata, how emotions are there, how Hanuman, like I told one story I told that, when Lord Ramachandra came back with Sugriv and Jambavan, everyone to Ayodhya, he was so, gracious and so respectful. He made Jambavan and Sugriv, everyone sit on his own level, on the same level that he was sitting. And he told that everyone, all the citizens and Guru and ministers, that I won the battle because of these friends of mine, And then I told the pastor, because that man also came pakka, sitting to preach me. So before he could preach, I started preaching. I told him all this story. Then I told him that, look, and then when it came to Hanuman, Lord Ramachandra, he was introducing every friend of his who helped him. And when it came to Hanuman, or Rama, he said that this is Hanuman who helped me, and he is such a great servant of mine, and I don't possess anything in my possession which I can reward to him. He tells Hanuman. He introduces Hanuman that, I, as a Supreme Lord, the King of Ayodhya, have nothing in my possession which I can reward to Hanuman with, And that's why I give myself, and he goes and embraces Hanuman. And Lord Ramachandra's tears flows into the, Hanuman's body. And Hanuman is crying. So I told him, this is pure devotional service, And then I pulled it a little bit to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and explained that we are taking care of this aspect, and you want to nicely build up hospitals, Ayurvedic treatment and all that. So he was very intelligent. He said, no, you have to do, they have one course. He said, you have to do that breathing course. Pradhan phas gaye buri tarah. So then, and he said that you are there for another 4 days, and every day I need 3 hours. He said, impossible. And she said, breathing to hai. Sawal hi nahi uthta hai, kya breathing? So the person very nicely set up. He said, we will just leave everything away what we know, each other, and we will just be absorbed. So the guy, and then he came with a nice tape and first he put flowers on the tape only. And then one audio started, and one person started breathing exercises. And if I tell the exercise, you will all come to know. But then the best part was immediately light went away. Light went away. The light went away, and that day neither the battery worked, neither the generator worked.
The whole area had light afterwards, but the place
Prabhupada saved me from that course actually.
There only the light was not there for 1 hour.
Only there the light was not there. That fellow also understood. So he said, tomorrow I'll do battery backup and everything properly. Then I told the administration person, look, I'm serving as this is role in my organization. I have no time. I can do this 3 hours treatment. After that, I have my meetings. In my next visit, already I'm booking to do this course of yours. Finish. I strongly told them, and they loved it. So the point I was trying to make that this experience, I mean, we don't have to criticize anyone. But the point is that Prabhupada, he said that Prabhupada, Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita purport, some places he writes, violence, violence, no, he says. Violence means? Huh? Prabhupada, his Prabhupada's explanation of violence means not preaching Krishna consciousness is violence. Have you ever seen anyone writing like this? He doesn't damn care for English dictionary. Prabhupada only is worried how to take people to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not preaching Krishna consciousness means silence means
violence. Not to speak anything apart from Krishna.
Prabhupada writes the silence. Anyone remembers?
Anything apart from Krishna. Not speaking.
Prabhupada writes a beautiful, not speaking nonsense and speaking only about Krishna. And not speaking nonsense and speaking only about Krishna. That is Prabhupada's explanation about Ram. And the way when I asked this question, and Prabhupada, like someone asked Srila Prabhupada a question. He said, Swamiji, if suppose, end of the life, you come to know that spiritual world doesn't exist. All these scriptures are not right. And Krishna doesn't exist. And then what, Swamiji, what you will do in the end of your life? If you come to know that this is truth. Anyone remembers what Prabhupada answered?
We had a good time.
What?
We had a good time, but what if you come to know that Krishna doesn't?
Prabhupada's style was like this, the person is asking question, Prabhupada had a flower in the hand. So what? Krishna consciousness is so blissful still. Because so what? Krishna consciousness is so blissful. Blissful means all of you who have attended yatra with us in Maya, how many of you come to Mayapur, Vrindavan with us? So those who have come to Mayapur, Vrindavan, they can know what it means, It is so blissful. Morning, in evening, nice prasadam. 90% of the people come for prasadam. 90% of the people come for prasadam. And in prasadam, you get so many things that you will come to know only after you come back, the change in your life. So it is so blissful. And Prabhupada said like that only. That there is no, Prabhupada's way of living, there is no need to answer there is no need to answer the question of an ignorant questioner. It's better to make him realize that how ignorant is his question. That was Prabhupada's style of preaching. That's what Prabhupada said. No, so what? When he said so what, the guy was finished. Prabhupada in the style, he said, so what? Krishna consciousness is still so blissful. Why blissful? See, so nice prasadam, so nice kirtan, so nice association of devotees, so nice discussion. Isn't it blissful? Isn't it blissful? So Prabhupada was so confident, and that's how he preached. And then when he told this, and then he told him, but if end of the life you come to know hell is there, you have to suffer there. And Krishna is there, spiritual world is there. Then I had no answer. That is how Srila Prabhupada preached. So when I went for this treatment, I was actually, after this treatment I'm giving, this is the first class I'm giving. There were 3 classes which I was supposed to give. It got cancelled for other reasons, But I was always willing to share this experience when I went for this treatment, The guy has statements, when you try to search God, you will never find him. And when you dissolve, what is left is God. Huh?
When you meet God, you dissolve.
Okay. When you meet God, you dissolve.
And only God remains.
When you speak from here, you take it now. I forgot you were there.
It's mentioned that when we try to meet God, we dissolve and the God remains.
This is called Mayavad philosophy, that you are God. One day you will merge into God. And Prabhupada gives that beautiful example. He says, you never see a parrot getting into a tree and merging. Do you see that? No. You never see rivers mixing into ocean. But there are fishes. They never mix into the ocean. The fishes exist. Isn't it true? They exist. Prabhupada gives this example that soul, Paramatma and Atma, they actually individually exist. They don't merge. The merging is called Mayavad in personalism. Then 99% of the philosophy outside Mayavad. They say, what is it? Manav Seva, hi Madhav Seva. Manav Seva, hi Madhav Seva. Like that, there's so much. And there's a purpose for Mayavad also. And I was actually very able to receive Prabhupada's purpose, when I went out like this. Because Shankaracharya, Lord Shiva, whose expansion is an incarnation, expansion of Lord Shiva, he specifically came and introduced this Mayavad philosophy. Because there were many, many bogus Vaishnavas mixed amongst the normal Vaishnavas. So the Shankara philosophy that you will merge into God and one day become God attracted them and kept them aside. Attracted them and kept them aside, So Prabhupada writes all these things. And in such a simple language that you can see this going on in this world, What is left is. So I was hearing one lecture of Srila Gaur Krishna Maharaj. So beautifully mentions that one nice verse from Chaitanya Chaitamrita. He mentions about how it is very, very difficult for a living entity who's completely engrossed in Maya to understand Krishna. One who doesn't have knowledge of Krishna can never understand Krishna. He says, Maya Mugda Jivera Nahi Swata Krishna Jnana Jivera Kripa Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own efforts. But out of causeless mercy, the Lord compiled the Vedic literatures and its supplements and the Puranas. Conditioned soul means Maya Mukta. A conditioned soul. And then Maharaj very beautifully explained Maya Mukta Jeev. He says one who is very engrossed in Shoka, Moha, and Bhai. You know this? Shok, Moh, and Bhai. One who's very engrossed in it. No question of understanding Krishna. Because he will be busy in either of these three in 24/7. Shoka means he will be lamenting. He did this with me. I lost my election because of this. That happened to me. He did this with me. He is like this person. Shoka, always in depression. ये मेरे साथ हो गया, ऐसे कैसे हो गया, इसने क्यों किया, ऐसे क्यों किया, यही बातचीत है ना. ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, ऐसे थोड़ी करना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो नहीं, continuously. And second thing is after shoka, moha. Moha means attachment. This is my house. This is my possessions. This is my beautiful wife. These are my most beautiful children. There's no beautiful children than these children. There's something special only. Don't you feel like that? Husband and wife talking to each other. And there's nothing better than my own family. And I'm so special. Definitely, my family is also so special. And this is called moha, attachment to yourself, everything what you possess, everything what comes out of you. That's called. And then bhai. Bhai is what? What will happen to me? Only one thing which will happen to you after birth is what? Which nobody wants to know. Hear about it. I have seen people who are 75, 78. They will only talk about which medicine works to keep yourself alive. If you talk to me also, one day actually I was a new brahmachari, and I happened to go to preach. I happened to go to meet my family friends. They were elderly society members. So I was a new preacher. So my old relatives, I started preaching to them. One day we are going to die. You're already very close to death. This and that, and this are blasted like anything. We go, if according to our action, we'll get a birth of a dog or a cat or a pig. This and that. The old lady got so freaked out. And I realized, my God. Then eventually, as I matured, I understood that even if people are old, they are more interested to know what treatment, what medicines, what doctor can help you to still live a life, go on. Whereas, Prabhupada said that this is the only truth after birth is that, and we don't want to know that truth. Bhaya. And then because you don't want to know that truth, you are always fearful of losing everything. Because you want to lose your body, you want to think about, you don't want to prepare for your death. So then you have to believe in that fear. This is mine, that is mine, that will go away. If that goes away, what will happen? This whole LIC business is on the principle of moha. Bhaya. The whole LIC principle is on the moha. What do you call? Bhaya, what? I cannot believe what policies are there now. I left the outside world 22 years ago. Now what policies are there? Goodness, what policies people have made, like this whole success which is based on money and fame and external beauty has become such a prominent existence in the material world. People damn care. One devotee with us who's working with LIC told that, how even very, very poor people also, they will just save some money. The wife will save some money from the husband and just put that money into some policy that the daughter or son will get after 18 years. And the whole world is rolling on all these things. थोड़ा सोना खरीद कर रख लेंगे बेटी के लिए, थोड़ा जमीन खरीद कर रख लेंगे बेटे के नाम पे. Like my Guru Maharaj, Khargar temple opening, gave a beautiful class. This is the situation of the Hindus is so bad. He said that a person, when he becomes very successful, the first thing what he will do is he'll build a house for himself, and then after that for his son, and still he has some life left, he'll do something for grandson also. And then some chiller, what is left, he'll call and give Hare Krishna people, mandir ke liye rakh lo. Like that. The situation of the world is like that. People are just into this thing. But our scriptures teaches that in the material world, everything is destined. Our philosophy teaches us that you won't even have one hair more in your body, as much it is destined in your karma. When I tell this in the engineering college or students, they get freaked out, because they have the whole life for work is worship, and in the beginning, before they begin, we tell this. And I have my famous example for this. Till it is the rich family is rich. You know that? Everyone knows that. There's some new people. The richest family of India. Ambani's. How many children they have? 2. You see, loudly everyone. The purpose said 2. That everyone knows. So these 3 children of Ambani's, or now they have a grandchild also, right? Did they work hard to become rich, or they were born rich? Why not you and me, or 3 of us, any 3 of us? Why we were not born there? Exactly. Everything is destined. This is the philosophy. Everything is destined. Not knowing this is cheating or illusion. This is what it will be simple philosophy. This is simple philosophy of Krishna.
I'll give you a small example. Since I work for a lab, I was at Jamnagar at this from there, so I'm just removed Ambani's, and I just wanted to share this experience. Ambani's dogs are also given a lot of importance.
Our Sunil Prabhu is not there. You are working for Ambani's though. Is there? Oh, he's here. But I will not name confidential thing. But not to name, no? He is a secretary to Ambani.
4 dogs of his next to my rooms in the hotel.
Really, yeah?
Same hotel.
Yeah.
And it was like, as if, who are we?
Yeah, all this we go through, In our initial days of fundraising, we went through all that, we went to one big donor. We thought, Bhiwandi ka mandir banane ab koi baat nahi. So the lady had a dog. Do you mind, Prabhuji? Dog will be around if I leave it in the house. Theek, chalega. Dog came running. And then she said, Mataji, we don't need onion garlic. So she cooked very nicely. She has one Brahmin cook. So she cooked, we ate nicely. Now, do you remember? Lokanwala. So we ate very nicely. So we ate very nicely. I said, "Bola temple ke liye paisa mile, chalo khane dekhe ek baar kya." So then I said, Mataji, a Brahmin cook is from UP. You have so nice in today's era. You have a Brahmin cook, and very nice, and he cooked for us. He must be pure, no, not even onion garlic. She said, rascal eats meat also. My God. Like, kya guru, you know what happened? Then I said, immediately she went inside to get something more. I went to the bathroom, put my hand down, vomited the whole thing there. And then the worst part was what, the flush was not working. Anil Prabhu was with me. Then I had to accept that my stomach got upset. Mataji, sorry, I vomited. So yeah, because those were the days, we wanted to build a temple, we get all this experience in this world. Of course, we had a very nice experience also in the same place. This gentleman, he arranged a nice preaching program. So he called all these rich men. And at that time, this Sahara person was arrested. So I told in the lecture, look at this person, he's such a rich person, now he's arrested, he must have done sinful activities. So this gentleman who hosted us was a friend of that Roy, no? Subrat Roy. So he was a friend of that person. So he said that, Prabhuji, I know that person, he's a very, very spiritual man, this and that and that. And you see, he's a very spiritual person. I want to ask you one more question. He said that, Prabhu, I have 5,000 employees working under me, each one of them having 5 members in their family. I want to become like you, give up everything and, become Hare Krishna. But I have one question, that this 15,000 people, because 5,000 employ, each one has 5 members. One way, directly or indirectly, I'm responsible. So how can I give up all these things? How can I give up all these things and become like you? Because these 5,000 people depend on me, and indirectly 15,000 people. So he wanted me to do a tricky question, He wanted to, because हम तो बुंदा बोलते सब छोड़ो आ जाओ मंदिर में, तो बोला बताओ भैया 15,000 लोग को कहाँ ले जाऊं? His question was this indirectly. So I thought somehow the Prabhupada's mercy, one answer clicked to me. I told him, you know, I told him that, look, according to your situation, you start chanting one round and it will show that how sincere you are about this. Second thing, I told him that if you are very convinced about it, you have to know one thing. The first most important thing, if you have this feeling that you want to give up everything, is that you should know that your company put together, can it, because these people who are working in your company and they depend on you, their basic need is food. Isn't it true? Correct, no? The first most important thing is food. उसके बाद में घर, बाद में, first नहीं, खाना कपड़ा घर. Isn't it true? So I told him that food which they eat, no company produces that. No industry produces that. No IT, nobody produces, neither your currency produces. It is produced by the earth because it rains. And that is the will of the Lord. So you should know this truth, I told him. That if you want to join, you can join and Krishna will take care of them. You are not producing grain. Krishna is producing grain and he'll give them their quota. Everyone will get their quota. Don't worry about that. In a very nice, respectful way, I gave this answer. Immediately invited us to Dubai and arranged a program there actually. He was very happy with the answer and then he invited us to Dubai and we went and did a program there. So, Srila Prabhupada's teaching is so perfect. His writing is so perfect. And as I was mentioned that, in the beginning, that our whole goal of life is to serve Krishna and attraction to Krishna. Krishna is so attractive. This philosophy, this specifically when we are ignorant or we are on the platform of jnana, philosophy helps a lot because it's like a mind's game, because many a times when especially all of you, when you're coming for your first few lectures, first lecture, second lecture, everyone waits. Isn't it true? I have seen when we give lectures now, all are waiting that where this person is something, I'll ask a question. Isn't it true? Everyone has that, they wait. And sometimes we preachers purposely say something that question comes up, we can give more answer, more elaborate answer. So that is the level where we have initially, and then we like the kirtan, we take prasadam, and then we develop taste. We experience the transcendence. We experience something which is beyond the material experience. We actually experience something which we don't see. We know about it. We hear about selflessness. Isn't it true? We know about selfless love. But we experience when we come in association of devotees. That is all coming from Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. He's all attractive. In fact, Srila Gaur Krishna Maharaj was giving Gatha and he was mentioning, Krishna is so attractive, that one day Krishna's beauty attracts Krishna also. Krishna's beauty attracts Krishna also. In fact, Gaur Krishna Maharaj explains very beautifully. He said one day Krishna saw for the first time a mirror after he was little mature, and he told it was in Nanda Bhavan. So he told his mother, बोला, अरे मैया, अरे ये कौन है इतना सुंदर? मेरा तो मन कर रहा है इसको दिन भर खड़े रह के देखो. मतलब यशोदा कह रहे लाला ये तो तू ही है, ये तो तू ही है. And mother, Gaur Krishna Maharaj says one of the first time he says, Radharani, she actually never allows Krishna to hold the mirror or come in front of the mirror. As soon as mirror comes, she grabs it away. He said, नहीं. बोले क्यों राधे? He said, एक बार आपने अपनी छवि को देख ली, आप हम लोग को देखोगे ही नहीं. You will just forget that we exist. You will be so absorbed seeing your beauty, which is our object of enjoyment. So Krishna's beauty Krishna's all attractive. His actions, his pastime, anything you hear about Krishna is attractive. So many beautiful pastimes are there, in Ramayana, in Mahabharata. I was reading about Balram Purnima time. I was reading some pastimes and hearing some pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. So we know how Krishna wanted Devi Subhadra to be married to Arjuna, and Lord Balaram wanted him to get married to Duryodhana. And then we know how Krishna arranges, Arjuna to come as a sannyasi, and then Subhadra gets attracted, and then they are married. And then Balaram comes to know. Then Balaram, I think you should speak now. Mike is also telling. Bas ho gaya. Then Balaram, Lord Balaram, he comes to know that Krishna, he tricked this whole arrangement so that Subhadra gets married to Arjuna. So when Balaramji gets married to know, he gets very angry. And very angry, we start searching for Krishna. And Krishna immediately falls at the feet of Balaram and begs, Dao, maaf kar do, galti ho gayi. Dao, maaf kar do, galti ho gayi. And then there, I heard from the lecture of Radheshyam Prabhu, one of my Shiksha Gurus, that he said that Krishna is teaching that how easy it is to solve a quarrel in this world. Only one person has to take a humble position. The other person doesn't have an option other than forgiving. Isn't it true? Suppose you have a big fight, in your family, and you say, man, that he says, no, Kaliyuga, he says, Kaliyuga, the measurement of a person's value is how big is his ego. मैं बड़ा नहीं रे, मैं बड़ा नहीं मैं बड़ा मैं इससे बड़ा So Lord Krishna teaches through this pastime that the only thing what we should say is मैं सबसे छोटा हूँ. And just surrender. Just take a humble position, ask forgiveness, there will never be any problem. But that is so difficult. Baba re Baba. That's why it's called Kali Yuga, age of quarrel, age of quarrel. And coming to the point wherein most of us being grasthas, or the example is like Delhi ka laddu jo khaya, wo pachtaya. Jo nahi khaya, you know this example? Huh? Delhi ka laddu jo khaya, wo pachtaya. Jo nahi khaya. What does it mean? Anyone knows what does it mean?
You feel that why should I why did I get
No, from the Grastha Ashram point of view. From the Grastha Ashram point of view, the person who is married, he has the laddu already and is suffering. And the person who is not married, he is also suffering because he doesn't have that laddu. He says, "Shadi ho jayega, fir ye hoga." That story is there, no? That there was one man daydreaming. There was a person who had a pot making shop. He used to sell pots. So he got a new shop in a new location. So he made 1 to 4 pots, and they got sold. And then even another 4, it got sold. 8 pots he sold. Then he started thinking, my God, 8, now tomorrow I'll make 16. And then 16 it got sold, 16 into 2. How much is it? 32 into 2. 64 into 2. And he just kept continuing. He thought, my God. And then all this will be sold, this much money will come. And after that, I will have my wife. And I'll tell my wife that you should cook for me this. And she will tell me, no, I'm not going to. I'll take the stick and beat her. And he breaks that 4 pots. The 4 pots which were there, he breaks that also. So Delhi ka to nahi khaya hai, uska halat ye hai, no? So in Grihastha ashram, it is very simple. It is said it is an ashram of, it's a married life is an institution of tolerance. Institution of tolerance. And if you cannot tolerate, you don't get married. And if you are married already, you cannot tolerate. Time will teach you to tolerate. Don't worry. Time will teach you to tolerate. Don't worry. Like our Atul, Ramrupa was giving a class, Ramayana class. So he said that one son goes to his father. He tells him, "Then my dear father, I want to get married." So he said, "Rascal, tell sorry first." I said, No, what happened? Tell sorry. He said, "No, father, I mean to say I want to get." Chup, pehle sorry bolo. मैंने गलत क्या बोला? पहले sorry बोलो. पहले sorry बोलो. He says, "Father, पहले sorry बोलो." He said, "ठीक है बाबा, sorry नहीं करना है शादी." नहीं. Even if you have not done anything, and even if you are right, if you are ready to say sorry, you are ready for marriage. You are ready for marriage. मतलब बेटा तू शादी कर. But Srila Prabhupada has given a very beautiful Krishna conscious life, Srila Prabhupada's teachings are so perfect. You just follow Srila Prabhupada's perfect and your life is perfect. There's no need to worry. You just need only one thing, faith. Our faith is a driving force in Krishna consciousness. Krishna's mercy, his energies, his instructions, everything starts acting based on our faith. How much faith we put on his teachings, based on that, Krishna's mercy acts. And what is there in a devotee who puts complete faith in Krishna? He only has one thing in his life. You know what? Experience miracles. Others are based on karma. Others are only based on. But those who have faith on Krishna and they completely go on the path of Krishna, they only have to experience miracles. That's it. Isn't it? We only experience miracles. So now you can speak something I spoke for almost 1 hour.
Hare Krishna. I'm a little anxiety to speak because first time, like if anybody has seen me in Mayapur, I just roar on them, especially the girls who comes to me. Speaking in front of everyone is a little difficult. I just ask forgiveness from all of you if I do some mistakes. I just would like to glorify some purports of Srila Prabhupada because I'm a little in anxiety, so not able to remember any pastime or something. Actually, one of my mentor in Mayapur, and she's a senior disciple of Lord Govind Maharaj. She always comes to me to guide me. She helps me to stay in Mayapur. So she once came and she just said, she always comes and like to read with me Prabhupada books. And if I'm doing work, she comes and she reads and I hear doing work and everything. So she asked me, you know what, when you read Prabhupada purport, it's very important to read Srila Prabhupada purport. When you read it, don't you feel you are very close to Krishna? I said, yes. You know why? I said, no, mataji. So, because these purports are not written by Prabhupada, it is written by Krishna himself. So they are very, very, very important. We should always read Srila Prabhupada purports. I'm sorry, I'm really forgetting. So she said me that we should read. And even Srila Prabhupada used to enjoy reading his purports. because he used to whenever see his books, he said, this I wrote. He used to enjoy his purports. So one of the purport which I read is of glorification of Mother Ganga. And staying in Mayapur, whoever comes, I have mainly whoever I'm connected to, I have spoken this purport, where Srila Prabhupada very glorify Mother Ganga, how she appears, and what other, where he, very significant point he mentions that there was one Brahmana in Kolkata, who very small diseases also, he used to take sips Ganga water and he used to get cured. So he one day he had a big trouble, so doctor suggested to have some surgery, but still he continued eating Ganga water. So and he got cured. So this is the glories of Mother Ganga, and by staying in Mayapur, we go to Ganga every frequently there. And our Jaipadaka Maharaj says that whenever you have problems, you can go Ganga. It's for women, it is like a beauty parlor there. You can put your face scrub, face mask. And even we experienced that, like our Damodar, he had one finger issues, and we gave some medicine, it got cured. And then I said, look, let's go to Ganga, it will be healed. Then we were, no, water is there, it won't get healed, it will become more pussy. But we went, we put the sand, it got cured. So this is little of our realization how the Srila Prabhupada's purports are perfect and true. And like last time, I feel that last time Narottam Prabhu was telling that many Matajis had some question regarding my saying this
Ambassador.
Mercedes and ambassador. My ambassador, a man body says to be Mercedes Benz and woman body says to be ambassador. Many of Matajis had this question. Just recently, I heard one Srila Prabhupada class where Prabhupada was telling that all the spirit souls, all living entities, they are part and parcel of Krishna, they are energy of Krishna. And Krishna is Param Purushottam Bhagavan. He is Purush, and all are feminine. All, even they are in this body, but they are feminine because the energy serves the energetic. The energy serves the energetic. So we are energies and they are serving. But because of our karmas, we got different bodies. Like they got male body and we got female body. So my mentioning this is why I said it was Mercedes, because they have higher facilities to perform Krishna consciousness. They can become brahmacharis, we can't. They can become sannyasis, we can't. They have many samskaras from the childhood. When a boy is born and when a girl is born, a boy has from his childhood many samskaras. For girl, only Vivaha samskara is prominently mentioned, where she has to be subordinate. Like that class what Prabhupada was emphasizing was that energy is always in control. Like Krishna is the controller and energy is in control. Like all of us, all living entity, we are in control. Not only we can. So being in a female body, I feel it's more easy because for them it is like they take the male body, and for them, of course, they have the mercy of Guru and Acharya. But it is very easy being in a female body to think of being controlled. Because like Prakriti is controlled by Krishna. Krishna controls the Prakriti. So similarly, being in a female body to get controlled by a man and being a simple, like Vaishnava, simplicity is Vaishnavism, is said. Just following the footsteps of husband, we become Krishna conscious, and it's easy. So my point was that only it's our facility. The ambassador in the sense is ambassador cannot run with the speed of Mercedes, right? And Mercedes can go fast. It has some higher facilities. So they have their facilities. We have our. And I also mentioned many points like Vijaypatnis I glorified about. They are the one. Even their husbands were not. They got the mercy of Krishna, but they got. Vijaypatnis. So they got that mercy. So that doesn't matter. We are male body. None of us are going to take this body with us. We have to somehow or the other, all circumstances, just remember Krishna and just following the rules of like we, like a woman, if we follow the serving husband, serving children, it's so simple just to follow, it's easy to follow. Then to make a decision and manage, and you have to make with your mind. But to follow is so easy. So we got this best opportunity being in a woman body, just to follow the men and authorities. They have their guru, they have their acharya, they have their higher facilities to them to follow. We have to just follow the husband. So it's very easy. So that's what I meant. So if you have any question regarding, you can ask.
Yeah, we can take further questions
Hmm.
regarding this. Pass it there, yes. So we also last many devotees asked questions to me also and to her also, directly and indirectly. So we thought we'll take some question answers. If you have any questions, you can ask us directly, also raising your hand. And also Narottam Prabhu has some pens and chits. If you want, you can write questions and we will try to reply them as much the time permits.
So if anyone wants to ask a question and you don't want to we know that that question is from you, then please write the question without your name.
And make sure the opposite person not seeing you.
We don't recognize your handwriting. You can ask some question and send the chit in front.
Or you can ask questions also.
If anyone otherwise wants to ask, please raise your hand.
You can ask questions to her. Yes, give the mic to her. Just pass the mic.
So, as you said that for the male there is guru and we are just following the so I don't know whether we have a guru or only the conference have.
For a woman, Pati is Guru. Husband is Guru. Yeah. Yeah, we cannot, as a female, we cannot approach sannyasis. I can serve my Guru Maharaj to my husband. He goes to him, he touches his feet, he massages him. I massage his feet. So this is how it is done. You can accept authority and follow them. You have Bhagavan, Mataji, Narottam Prabhu. So you follow them.
And also there are Grasta Gurus. What about that? So of course, even Matajis have a Guru. There's an initiation for both male and female. But the man, he takes decisions and the woman follows. Sometimes the woman is strong. She takes a decision and husband can follow. Prabhupada writes in a letter that if the wife is advanced spiritually, husband can accept her guru and follow her. But the principle is always that according to the scriptures, that a woman is always under the shelter of the father first, then the husband, and then grown-up children. And Prabhupada mentions, and which is so strongly evident today, when the woman misses any of these stages of shelter, she becomes a problem for the society and for herself also. And you can see that in the world. I remember you only asked a question long back that I had mentioned in a class that how women are being exploited. And then you or someone said, I'm working in the corporate company. I don't feel exploited. And Narottam Prabhu mentioned, you were working in the city bank, how the most beautiful girls had the most sales, something like that, So they get exploited. It's the nature. See, fire and butter principles. So that's why when in a very bona fide way, under the shelter, and what happened, Prabhupada says, what Prabhupada mentioned, he said that just by following the husband, the woman gets the 50% of his devotion. Only she has to endeavor for 50%. Isn't it a better deal from a Krishna conscious point of view? But you can explain this to the ignorant world, the modern civilization. You can explain this to them because their principle of right and wrong is based on ignorance. It's not based on shastras. To Pradhan Mataji.
How best can female manage Krishna consciousness along with official work? Yeah, they can. Many are doing it. Our Juta Mataji was there. You can chant, you can read while doing your work. And I to suggest if you leave your work, it will be more best.
No, I will put in a better way. The beauty of Krishna consciousness is such. At the current situation, one should actually do whatever you're doing it nicely, but practice Krishna consciousness very sincerely. And Krishna consciousness will guide you towards what is right, what is good. And to work can be Krishna consciousness, means chant your rounds, read scriptures, and be in a situation where you can be more Krishna conscious. You can be more Krishna conscious. And if you are sincere, Krishna will guide you to what will make you more Krishna conscious and happy. Only most important thing is in any situation, work or no work, is we are very sincere towards Krishna consciousness. Some people may, some Matajis may not do a job, but watch movie all day at home. And some Matajis may have a job, but contemplating, how I can be more Krishna conscious. It's a very individual. Only Paramatma is watching. And if one is sincere, Krishna will make arrangement. And if you're not sincere, also Krishna will make arrangement. Choice is yours, which path you want. Choice is yours, which path you want. What is the prescribed duty of a woman in terms of career? How much she should value her career in Krishna consciousness? Rupavati Mataji can answer better than me. She's there. What do you feel, Mataji? Your practical experience. I've never had I don't know about film knowledge. She also did not work much.
Can you please read the question again?
Okay. What is the prescribed duty of a woman in terms of career? How much she should value her career in Krishna consciousness?
So when I was
because you were in the peak of your career, right?
Yeah.
And now?
Now I've left. So when I was working right from the beginning of my career, I was very clear about my priorities. I was very clear that family is going to be my first priority. My children are going to be my first priority. Keeping this in mind, I was doing my career. And I was very, very passionate. I wanted to be at the peak. And I actually changed many jobs. I was paid also very well. And but at the same time, I was very much focused on my family. I ensured that my daughters are always taken care of. My husband, kitchen work is also always taken care of, because otherwise, someone handling a kitchen is like, you're like letting someone enter into your kitchen is something to for me. So considering all these aspects, always those were at the back of the mind, and I never let those aspects compromise. Fortunately, my parents were there to support. My maid was there to support, a very good maid. But because they were there, I could do my career without compromising on the family. So family obviously was the first priority. If they would not have been there, then I would have definitely left the job, or I would have definitely compromised on my career.
Very well. Thank you so much, Madhavi. It's very nice. You want to add something? So I will add just something, because Mataji just came to my mind when I read this, Somehow there any Mataji who's looking for a career or is in middle of the career, the most important thing I would say, for if you are not married, then learn cooking. If you are married, your career should be around that at least once you cook for Krishna, offer it and feed the family. That is real career. Along with that, whatever you do, Krishna will take care. But this is the prime responsibility, because in the Vedic culture, the love in the family spreads through the woman. The culture comes down only to the one. Man doesn't give the culture to the child. He does it after a certain time. But who does majorly? It is said after Krishna Prem, pure devotional service, love of God, the second most purest love in this material world is between the mother and the child. Till the child is breastfed. Till the child is breastfed. Such a love it is. So that mother can only give, and that extends to her cooking. As we know, consciousness goes into the food, and that keeps the family, the children, everyone together. So that's very important thing, that you should know cooking, and you should actually make sure at least once you're cooking for your family in the day. Otherwise, that career has no value actually. It is just going to give you some piece of papers which will be in your pocket, or some figures which will be in a bank account. Some land which you will not take with you when you die. Some property which will not go with you. Isn't it? Everything will be left here and you will lose the purpose of human life. How do you manage to practice Krishna consciousness when your parents are not spiritual? How do you manage to practice Krishna consciousness? How to manage Krishna consciousness when you're parents? Very nice. You should actually be very intelligent. I always tell this to the new devotees. You should be very intelligent, because you have become a devotee doesn't mean that now the whole world will understand you. Because you have become a devotee. It doesn't mean that. I remember one boy was there in the initial days of my preaching. So I was a strong preacher. No onion, garlic. So the boy got fired up. After 8 months, he went home and started criticizing his father. ये जो कांदा है ये गाय का मांस है, और ये लहसुन है ये गाय का हड्डी है. आप लोग पाप खा रहे हो. देव धपा धप देव. पिताजी ने जो पिटाई किया उसका. He called me and told me, Prabhuji, मैंने अरे पागल. I told him, how many days in a month, in a year you go to home? He's studying in the hostel. He said 20 days once and 1 month once. I said, Hey Baba, chupchap eat onion garlic that time and come here rest of the 10 months. Practice Krishna consciousness. When you take up a job, you will not be depending emotionally and financially. You will have your say. At that time, you can express. At that time, you express, these are my decisions of life. This is the path I have taken. With all due respect to you, allow me to follow this. You have to wait for the right maturity in your Krishna consciousness and for the right time. And for that, you should always be in contact with your superiors and consult them. Always be in contact with the superiors and consult. How to remain deeply absorbed in remembrance of Krishna at all time? Yes, very nice question. So, always be the simplest, according to my level, the most simple way to always remember Krishna is be always in association of devotees. Don't trust yourself and your mind. If you are with devotees, they will either tell you, Prabhuji, take prasad. They will tell you, Prabhuji, we have to go for Mangal Aarti. Prabhuji, Bhagavatam class is going to start. Prabhuji, we have to go for this seva. Prabhuji, we have to sleep on time. Tomorrow we have to get up for Mangal Aarti and chant our rounds properly. So what happens? You are always Krishna conscious because you are in association of devotees. Sure, in association of advanced devotees. And second most important thing is take responsibility. Take responsibility to preach and spread this message. How to develop strong between husband. How to develop? Can you understand? Relation? Yeah. The question is a little incomplete. How to develop strong between husband and wife? Strong bonds, strong relationships.
Not at all. Sacrifice your own self, your own desires, and understand what the person needs. As far as a woman in my level, I think what his priorities are, I go according to. I gel myself there. And that makes me more realized and more spiritual. That's how it works. Even with children, small children, we can't do कि मेरे को जैसा चाहिए मैं बच्चों को उस हिसाब से करूँ. No, we have to serve them according to their when they are small. So then they come out and they have a good mature mind and everything. Similarly, to start with a good relationship in Krishna consciousness, you have to first understand the person, his needs, and we have to, as a woman, we have to, early actually in Vedic times, it was very easy because when a girl, she sees so many mothers in the house, chachi, badi ma, choti ma, they all serving their husbands and it was very easy for them. But now with isolated families, it becomes very difficult. So, but our Krishna conscious philosophy, Prabhupada has explained everything in the purpose. And so it's, we can just follow the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. It becomes easy.
See, my experience about this is that it is, first of all, the question is personal. And since I don't know you personally, it's very difficult to give a personal answer. But I can tell a general principle, if that's okay. The general principle is that we are actually heading from India, the land of Vedic culture. And fortunately, I grew up in a joint family. How many of you grew up in a joint family or seen joint family? You know, so my father was our 4 brothers, and it was so natural that my father's elder brother's wife, my buddy ma, she used to chastise me and control me because I was very naughty, but I was fearful of her. And I saw her chastising my mother also, and my mother being fearful of her. And it was so naturally accepted, you know. The elders were treated as Guru and Supreme Lord in the Vedic culture. Elders. Now they don't damn care who is elder. Money hai, paisa hai, to elder hai. Nahi hai, to kuch kaam ka nahi hai. That's a modern culture, you know. So we have to actually go back for these things because the relationship is based on experiencing relationship. So my fortune was that I saw this thing, you know. My father's a second, and his 2 younger brothers were very respectful to him, and my father was very respectful to his elder brother. Things changed when television came actually. I can remember after being a devotee, when I read Prabhupada's books, and I went back to relate it because after I got married, Narottam Prabhu started preaching, and we were thinking what to do because we have so many girls coming, we have so many young boys coming, and we have to get them married or what we are supposed to do. We also did not know because the nuclear family system is I and I also am there, you know, both are I. 2 I come, then small I comes, you know, then other is and then all are I, you know. I am earning, my bank balance, my investment, you cannot touch my phone has a password, all these issues, you know, it's total impersonal relationship. It's very difficult to have a relationship here. It's a contract only, you know. But Vedic culture, you have to go through the culture, and you see that. I mean, my father used to chastise my mother. I never saw her back answering my father until television came up. Honestly, I'm telling you this with those who are my age or above 50, they will agree with us, you know. They must have seen it. You never see. There are small fights here and there, but that's it. People don't feel suffocated to live with each other just because there was one small fight between 2 brothers. You know, I've seen my uncles fighting, and then next day on, everything is fine. Next day, now here it's like, so Vedic culture is missing. Vedic culture. So when there is no culture, then it's very difficult. So we have to re-establish that culture. And the process of re-establishing that culture, bonding and love and affection is actually the byproduct of it. You know, now there's no culture only. There's no respect to the elders. So this is very important point. And I experienced this, you know, like when Narottam Prabhu, of course, Gangarani is here, Narottam Prabhu is here, you know. We live like, you know, brothers. They all live like, you know, sisters. Then we have Dayama here, Sridhar Prabhu is there. We have Shantivardhan Prabhu and Nitya Kishore is there. She's there. And we have Krishna Premanand Prabhu. And then his good wife, Shitala Devi. And then we have Nitai Jivan Prabhu, his good wife, Nidhi. So we actually tried it and it worked. We thought what to do because see, Vedic culture depends on women's tolerance. So as soon as Narottam Prabhu would say, Prabhuji, this girl is serious. How many of you? How many of you change? All of you, no? Diaper means changing means putting a hand, someone else's child, washing it, putting the diaper, dressing household work. So this makes women very difficult to develop relation. Forget about husband-wife, any relation. There's no relation in this competition world today. It's only selfish motives. So culture has to be revived. If the culture is revived, it's only relation which is there, and Krishna is the center. And I've seen, see, my parents were not strong Krishna conscious devotees, but because of their culture, and what happened? They all separated when my youngest uncle got married to educated girl who went to university. All three never went. You can edit this part. Huh? All three never went. And that's it. And they would fight in the night and over. That was it. Then you have partitions. I saw a wall being built. We would have a, we had 3 bedrooms and 1 living room. 12 children playing in that living room. And then the walls were made, partitions were made. It's all over, finished. We have to revive that. First, husband and wife, and then now we cannot go to a blood relation, but devotees have to build that. Then this world will become a better place. That's how we're going to win the world. There's a community which want to win the world by force. And we have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this beautiful philosophy of love of God. And it worked. I mean, for us, it worked. It's just a tolerance and patience and loving affection. And you see, it will be a different thing. I hope I just wanted, this was a very deep question. It just cannot be answered in one line, Relationship is based on culture. Culture is based on tolerance, And tolerance, actually, a man's strength is women. For a married person, if you just want to live in the material world, me and mine, that's a different thing. But if he wants to be a Krishna conscious devotee, then he has to serve. He has to serve Krishna and his devotees. And that is only possible if the wife is supporting, standing like a rock behind. Suppose you invite devotees at home, my wife has a balloon-like face, Pani do. आदमी का हालत क्या होता है मालूम है? आदमी का हालत क्या होता है मालूम है? That situation is what it makes a man, What it makes a man when he sees that, And just imagine, just suppose someone comes home and woman just keeps the glass handkerchief and goes inside. Khatam. Puri zindagi khatam aadmi ka dodari. Isn't it? And then he has to live. Adjust it. Why? Child is there now. And both suffer. This is because of lack of culture. We are living for ourselves and our egos. We have to know there is a higher purpose. And that purpose is approached by culture. Krishna conscious culture. You want to add something, Gautam? In the modern world, girls often misunderstand that women following anyone is dependent. Their independence is lost. Your suggestion. See, this is a very common thing. Prabhupada actually gave one answer on press and he enjoyed it. He said that women and men are never equal. And he said that who becomes pregnant, Prabhupada said, man or a woman? It's a woman who becomes pregnant. And then what happens? Then what happens? What does a woman has to do? If the man pregnant and leaves her, what she has to do? Suffer, no? Isn't it? Suffer. Prabhupada gave this answer, and everywhere people started approaching. And Prabhupada is to defeat that, So, first of all, our philosophy says that we don't have independence, man or woman. Our dependence on Krishna is our real independence. Understand my point? The question says that, in the modern world, girls often misunderstand that women's following any one is dependent and their independence is lost. First thing we should know what is independence. Our dependence on Krishna is real. If that is clear, your 50% clarity is there. And then if we have to depend, then whom we have to depend? Krishna is not coming directly. Then whom? A man has to depend on the guru and authorities. And the woman before marriage upon the father or a brother, after marriage upon the husband. That is actually real independence. Because it's so simple. For example, now you see a woman with a very modern clothes walking on the street. And there will be men looking at it in a certain way, right? And then you see a woman fully covered with a sindoor very nicely. Men will look at her also. There will be a difference in the mind of a man towards both the women. I remember Radhesham Prabhu once explaining that, see, when I was 21 years, very rarely women would work. I'm talking about 1991 means, I was 15, 16, 96, 94, 92. No, I'm 41. It's for 96, 97, 98 something. Women were not so much working in the corporate world that time, no? Mataji, 93, 94, 95. Not so much, Suddenly, I started seeing that young girls doing promotions with boys in the petrol pump. Have you seen that? That era, have you seen? The plan was men have to work more and women said that they will work more for less. You understood? The whole psychology work, they will work more for less money. Because there is certain philosophy behind it, There's certain philosophy behind it. So we have to know there is exploitation in this independence. And real independence is dependence. And if you have the dependence, then everything is clear. There won't be any question. And Prabhupada said that we cannot preach to the people who have already concluded that sense gratification is goal of life. You cannot preach to them. How can you preach to a person that he said, "Mere ko aapke kuch nahi sunna hai, jo main bol raha hu wahi sahi hai"? How can you preach a person? There is no waste of time, There's waste of time. We have to see that from the Shastra's point of view. What does Shastra say? Maya is also Krishna's energy. They are serving Maya now. They are serving Maya now. We should follow husband, but what if husbands are not qualified to be called as guru? Yeah, could be possible. I was expecting this. So you become sincere. See, a woman has such energy in her voice, in her cooking, in her dealing, in her affection, and in her love, that she can transform anyone. So any woman who's in a situation the husband is not qualified, then you become qualified to help the husband to become qualified. That is your real duty. Otherwise, from the modern civilization point of view, you can think that you are a great devotee and he is useless fellow. But only Krishna, Paramatma within your heart knows what you are, how sincere you are. Because Krishna consciousness principle is like, if the husband is down, it is your duty to make him feel comfortable that even if you're down, I'm with you. That is bonding. Even if you're down, I stand with you. The husband has no other option than lifting himself up. But if you say, hey, you are down and I'm up, finished, you will do this whole life and son will see that whole life. You know? Husband and wife, they have to know that they don't live for each other. They live for the progeny which you create. And how can you teach them something right if you don't yourself live a very right life? So tolerance of a wife plays a very big role for a husband to become a better devotee or even to become a devotee. Even to become a devotee. You know? So you have such an opportunity that if you become sincere, either your husband will follow, or in time your husband will become so sincere that he will follow and help you to follow her. Him. That is guaranteed to happen if you follow the process. I hope this answers. You want to add something? So that's very important. I remember once the same thing I told. When I was a new Grasta, my elderly Mataji came to me. She said, that husband and they're always fighting, their husband and wife. I know them. They individually, they are so amazing devotees. Mataji actually told me like this only. Individually, they are so amazing devotees. But somehow or other, when it comes to together, they are fighting always. They're fighting always, because she earns a little more and he's not so serious. That's the problem. She is amazing, but that is financially, not Krishna consciously. If she is Krishna consciously amazing, she will always make the husband feel that you are amazing. Whatever you are, but you are amazing. And then what is that husband left in his life? I know what I am, but look at the love she gives me. And I have to be to her expectation. That's it. How do we control most offensive thoughts coming in the mind while chanting japa? My Guru Maharaj always says, and Prabhupada always mentions, just keep chanting. The only solution to problems while japa, Maharaj said that all the problems in our life is inattentive chanting. And the solution to all the problems is attentive chanting. Chanting doesn't mean chanting. Chanting means chanting and hearing. And of course, when you come to know offenses and mind may go here and that, the most important thing is when you realize it, bring it back and make the mind hear, chant. The moment you realize the mind is gone, bring it back. Because as soon as you start your japa, it will go to 1978, 1989, 94, day before yesterday, or the future plans. Arey, did I sign that document properly or not? Immediately you run and see. Mind immediately goes there. That's the nature of the mind. How to control deviating mind? You should have deviating mind.
Just chant nicely. Hear the holy name of God.
How to know what is higher taste and bliss? How to experience it? How to know what is higher taste and bliss and how to experience it? Try, I will support you.
How to know what is higher taste and bliss, how to experience it. You should read Srila Prabhupada books nicely. You will know higher taste and bliss also. Continue reading, chanting, associating with devotees, eating prasad, tolerating each other.
Yeah, if you read Prabhupada books, see, reading is one part, second part is following. So what you read, Srila Prabhupada books, if you follow, then you are experiencing the bliss. And what happens? It is the higher taste. And once you taste the higher taste, then you will automatically discriminate the lower taste and higher taste. And then intelligence has to work. That will work when you are in association. I have seen, like our Shubhangi Mataji is not here, but I am I. So when they came, at certain occasion, my wife really dealt with them harshly under my instruction. But they were very young, working. She was working in TCS. She was not married. Things were quite harsh. But then we experienced that when they came back to the normal world, they valued that. They valued it. They felt more better in a life where they were controlled and sheltered. They valued it. And that's why they went ahead and followed. So when you follow path of Krishna consciousness and voluntarily surrender yourself and follow the instructions, take up that training where the superiors give you and services which they give you, automatically it gives that bliss. If there is a big family, then they have kept. If there is a big, and then they have kept cook who is non-vegetarian. Initiated Mataji, if they have kept such a cook, but the food is offered every day, then what will be the effect on the consciousness of the family members? If I understood it, if there is a big family, then they have kept a cook who is non-vegetarian, initiated Mataji. Non-vegetarian initiated Mataji. If they have kept such a cook, but the food is offered every day, then what will be the effect on the consciousness of the family members?
Mataji is initiated and she has kept a cook who eats non-veg and they offer that food. What will be the effect on the family?
So if the Mataji who is initiated and the family has kept a cook who is non-vegetarian, so first you worry about yourself. You are eating that or not, family or predator. So you make sure that if you can avoid that first. If you cannot, you keep praying to Krishna and offer it. Offer it, at least you offer it. And in a helpless situation, no, our sincerity and prayer. Are you in a situation where you can cook for yourself? If you are in a situation, if you don't do, you're not sincere. If you cannot do and cook and you're forced to be in the situation, you just pray to Krishna and do whatever is possible. In our situation, our sincerity and honesty is what Krishna reciprocates from here, from within the heart. The reciprocation of the Lord comes from within the heart when He sees us, our sincerity. So that's it. You just keep going and Lord will reciprocate. Do the needful. Prabhupada said, speak to your superiors, immediate superiors, and do the needful. This world is Dukkalam, so we will get different miseries as we are on the neophyte stage. Prabhuji, as you are very elevated devotee, what kind of miseries you go through which disturbs you, or nothing disturbs you? Narottam Prabhu knows better. First thing is, this question is wrong, because I am not elevated. Second thing is, what kind of miseries you go through which disturbs you. Actually, I am a conditioned soul. I am just repeating my Guru and Vaishnavas and Acharya's words. I am myself a conditioned soul. And I am always disturbed. I am only going on because I am following one thing which I told you. Anyone remembers that? Yes. My only qualification to sit here is I always live in association or devotees. Otherwise, I am always disturbed and I am always in miseries and I am not elevated. And this world is Dukkalam, you will not experience this because your tolerance increases so much by the mercy of association of devotees. When you become a devotee, the world doesn't change, your tolerance increases. अरे ये भगत बन गया दुनिया बदल दो इसके लिए ऐसा नहीं होता. Your tolerance increases. Why? Because you are relishing and blissful in Krishna consciousness. So with this, we end the last question. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So one very important thing which I wanted to make announcement, which all of you know, very soon, within 10 days. Huh? Sorry? Huh?
Radhashtam was coming.
I wanted to thank from the bottom of my heart to Narottam Priya Prabhu and his good wife Rangarani Devi Dasi. This whole program and this whole preaching, the whole efforts is, of course, under my leadership. With Narottam will speak after this, so I'm telling you now only. Under my leadership, but the sacrifice which is being done by both of them, living here together and taking care of everyone so selflessly, extending. Narottam Prabhu, even before he was, of course, I only got married to him. So before marriage, when we got married, since then also he was coming to our house, he would take prasad with me. It's been like a younger brother. And I've seen him growing, maturing, changing. And the way he has, both of them together have bring up this group. Even so many devotees in the temple, when they meet me, they say about all of you. Devotees in the temple, they will meet you, they glorify. So now they are moving ahead in their life in a certain way. Now Gangarani Mataji will be in Mayapur now. And she will be, going ahead for Gopal's further education. And Prabhuji will be staying here, continuing with his service. And she will be there. And I don't think so. This gap can be filled, especially from the Matajis. The way Gangarani conducts herself, the cultured background she comes from her family, the cultured background she comes from. It's such a, it's very, anyone who comes in touch with her will automatically understand how to respect elders. It is something we didn't teach her. She has come up with the family in such a culture. And we will all miss that here, when she goes. But at the same time, there's opportunity for others to take up more responsibilities, become more serious, and assist for the service they did. I want to thank both of them for being such an example, such an ideal, and so dedicatedly preaching, selflessly preaching, and taking up challenges. It's not, both come from different backgrounds and different culture, but they are a very beautiful marriage. The beauty of the marriage is they met each other on the day of marriage. Before that, they did not know each other. That is the most beautiful part of their marriage. They met each other on the marriage day, and here they are. So I wanted to thank them, because after this, I think she'll be in Mayapur, he'll be here. So thank you very much. And we all should, express our gratitude and love for them by once chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly for both of them. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare.
Krishna's mercy only comes to devotees, and our life only changes when we experience with our own senses the life of a devotee. That actually makes us change. Isn't it true? All of you agree with this? That makes us change, So all of you sitting here are actually mercy of Narottam Prabhu and Gangarani Mataji. I did not preach anyone sitting here. Everyone is preached by Narottam Prabhu or someone who's preached Narottam. So thank you to both of them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So a few days back, Sitaram Prabhu and I were having a conversation about this whole thing moving along. So then he told me that when Lord Ram met Sugriv, and Sugriv was explaining his problem to Lord Ram. So Lord Ram hugged him and said, "Jo tor hal, wo more hal." And then Sitaram Prabhu hugged me and said, "What you are going to go through is what I have gone through." So
no, he said, "Jo Lord Ramchandra says, Sugriv, Jo tor gati, wo more gati." My wife is taken away. My wife is taken away.
So we are simply following in the footsteps of Sitaram Prabhu and Pradhan Gopika Mataji. So when Mataji was, please pay attention, when Mataji was talking about tolerance, uh, Mayapur is very different now from what it was when they moved to Mayapur 8-9 years back. What they have gone through, and especially what Mataji has gone through to stay in Mayapur for the kids, have the fourth child there, and there were no facilities and there was no community there at that time. So when she says tolerate, she actually has shown by example. So therefore, her words have some impact because of that. So I've seen how much they have tolerated. This question was there, no? Prabhuji, you are an exalted devotee. Do you face problems? So the amount of problems that Sitaram Prabhu faces, and this is nothing to do with personal life. This is purely to do with service. Is like unbelievable. Anyone would say that, okay, you become a full-time devotee, and then you will have to take up so much burden. For whom? For the mission, not for your personal self. And in fact, there'll be, because of this, there'll be hardships in your personal life, in your health, in your upbringing of your kids, because you will not be able to give that much time to them because you will be busy giving time to Prabhupada's mission. Anyone else will say, why should I do so much? Ultimately, first I'll take care of my family, I'll take care of my health. So Sitaram Prabhu has pushed himself so much. The reason he went to Bangalore, whole story he mentioned about that organization, Art of Living. Is because the doctor told him that if you continue in this way, after 1 month, you will be bedridden. He has so much health problems. And why are all those health problems there? Because he has not cared about his health, not for enjoyment. Fool Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, he died at the age of 62. He had $5.6 billion with him. But he died because of ill health. But why? Because he had no control over his senses for personal enjoyment. But in Sitaram Prabhu's case, it is purely because of service. And same holds true with Mataji also. She also has so much bodily trouble. She was last couple of years especially. But they have done all that for the service of Prabhupada and to bring up so many nice devotees that they mentioned, starting also with me and Gangarani, to give so much time to get into personal life. Nobody would want to do that. Ultimately, you would think, छोड़ तुमको जो करना है करो, chant Hare Krishna. So many devotees give that kind of answer. ठीक है वो तुम्हारा personal problem. You chant Hare Krishna. But how can I chant Hare Krishna? I have all these problems, or I have this issue. My father is doing this, he's not allowing me, or my parents are not allowing me, or my husband is not allowing me, or my wife is just off, or this, that. And they actually get into that details if you allow them to. Why would everyone has enough problems for themselves that you would want to take up the problems of others. But they have done that, and the result is so many nice devotees. You have Shanti Vardhan here, his wife. You have Nitai Jivan Prabhu, his wife. Nitai Madhav Prabhu, his wife. Shubhangi Mataji, Anirudh Prabhu, me, Gangarani, and so many more are there. Dayamai is there, Girdhar. So all these examples are there of so many devotees now doing such nice service, and all a big deal of that credit goes to Sitaram Prabhu and Mataji, because they have that willingness to take this austerity. Someone may think, oh, they are going, these people are going to Mayapur and changing diapers of their kids. That's the last thing, the easiest would be, boss, you stay in Mumbai, I'll hire a maid so that I can shout at the maid and I don't have to worry about the feelings of the maid. And I don't care. I have hired a maid for 8 hours, I don't have to worry. But to not do that and call devotees for their own benefit is a very big thing. So whatever they spoke now, you should never feel that, oh, it's very idealistic or it's impractical. No, they have actually lived it. And the proof is many of us who are products or byproducts of that. So therefore, this is a very, very practical approach to Krishna consciousness. When Sitaram Prabhu says that association is more important. So I've seen him many times. He has opportunity to go to places where there will be more comfort, but he would prefer to be in a place where there are more devotees. Many times I told him, let's go here. We'll eat here. No. We know that prasad is not very great there. But okay, devotees are there, we'll go there. Once I remember we were in Jagannath Puri. Me, Anirudh Prabhu, Sitaram Prabhu, and childhood friend of Sitaram Prabhu. And Jagannath Puri has a very beautiful beach and very nice waves and all. And devotees, when they go there, they enjoy it. So I remember I got injured in that ocean. So I came out and I sat. And then even this friend came out and sat. So we were going and we had just come. So Sitaram had just entered the water. But then he told Anirudh Prabhu, नहीं, वो लोग दोनों उधर जाएंगे तो हम लोग को यहाँ पे we should also go back. So this is a very small thing, but big things also that are there. So therefore, they can speak such things, and that has an impact. You see, all of us. And someone asked a question: how to be blissful in Krishna consciousness? We are actually very blissful in Krishna consciousness because we are all together, and we see each other's children, and see each other's families, and we feel actually proud, and we feel happy about that. And we are actually very blissful, although it may not show on our face. We are very happy in Krishna consciousness as a community. So the secret of success is this: to get close to a devotee and open your life to that devotee in such a way that you allow them to correct you, chastise you, and you get more close in that way through the basis of service. And they have shown that in their life, and that is the most grateful that any devotee can be. So I'm not saying this just because of what he said, but genuinely, I have always been telling many of you these things about them. So please take this opportunity whenever Mataji is here, especially Matajis should overcome this nonsense barrier of independence and women and all these things, and genuinely accept what she says and try and imbibe it. And same goes true ultimately with Prabhuji. We have more association of, but whenever he comes, we should be eager to come. We should be eager to hear. We should be eager to ask, how can I get involved? And this is what will actually lead to rapid advancement in your spiritual life. So let us thank Pradhan Gopika Mataji and Sitaram Prabhu genuinely from the bottom of our hearts by very, very enthusiastically chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So today's prasadam is sponsored by Sangeeta Tokiwala Mataji. So let us all pray to Radha Rasbihari that through this service of feeding the devotees that she advances in spiritual life by once chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for her.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So all of you can please get up and we can prepare for prasadam.
Senang, mereka belum.